Greetings, Eric UK here. This is the first video in a, well, I hope to be, longer running series which looks at various elements of the Pathfinder Roleplaying Game with an eye towards giving help, suggestions or reviews towards players new to the game and the hobby. This particular video is going to deal with the first thing you need to do in character creation, which is the attribute generation, looking at the 5 methods suggested in the rulebook. The first of which is the standard method. This involves rolling 4 6-sided dice and dropping the lowest single dice 6 times, and recording the totals in whichever attribute the player wishes. This is my favoured method because it gives a random variable whilst giving a better than average roll. Placing the attributes also allows the player a chance to better tailor the character to their desired outcome. The classic method. This involves rolling 3 6-sided dice 6 times and assigning the scores as the player sees fit. This is what we used to do back under 1st and 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, but it's not something I would suggest these days, because unlike the standard method, it's more likely to generate average stats which can render some character builds weaker than perhaps they should be. Heroic method, a variation of the above methods, where the player rolls 2 6-sided dice plus 6 times and then assigns them where they will. I've never tried this particular method, so I don't know quite how it would work, but just looking at it, it strikes me that it would still be an average set of stats, but you wouldn't end up with the low scores generating you a negative modifier. The dice pool method. This involves having a pool of 24 6-sided dice and assigning them over the 6 attributes with a minimum of 3 dice per attribute. The total is rolled and the best 3 dice are kept. My group and I have tried this on a couple of campaigns, but I've never felt quite comfortable with it, as it tends to generate unbalanced characters who are fantastic at the appropriate abilities for their class, but are terrible at everything else. Finally, the purchase method. This variation does not use dice. Instead, the player is given a number of points, the recommendations 10, 15, 20 or 25, to spend on stats with a starting value of 10. An attribute costs more points the higher it goes. A number of role-playing games over recent years have dropped dice rolling for character generation and use a point-buy method. I seriously dislike this because it tends to allow a player to just recreate an identical character time and time again, whether at the beginning of a new campaign or as a replacement for a dead or retired player character. I also dislike it for the power gaming aspect. Much like the dice pool method, it tends to allow a player to create an unbalanced character who is great in the relevant area and incredibly weak at others. However, saying that, if you tally the effective points that the other methods would generate, they are often higher than the 20 to 25 point maximum that this method allows. When I am G-gaming a Pathfinder game, I do tend to prefer the standard method, but I am very quickly coming around to going with the 25 point purchase, because it gives the characters or the player greater control over their character, and also the dice rolling methods, as I mentioned, do tend to give you effectively a higher point value. So what do you think on that? Do you have a particular favoured method, different one to those presented in the rules here? I would be quite interested to see what people's thoughts are on that. Until next time, take care and good gaming.